looking for couples that were very compatible or very incompatible and dysfunctional, having Jungian psychologists give birth dates for 2 couples, one of each, that they had worked with in counseling. One very dysfunctional couple and one very functional, effective couple, and see if astrology could pick out which is which.
Ah.
So they would have maybe from 50 Jungian analysts, they would have a pair from each. So they'd have 50 of each. And they were going to start with a computer program, which has been advertised apparently in that area, that claims that their computer program will tell people if they're compatible or not, based on astrology, using the astrological factors. And the responses by the ESAR board members who have some psychological background are mostly so far very negative that astrology can't do that. The computer people promised that, but they can't deliver.
Right.
Not reliable, because you can have 2 people whose charts really have a lot of conflict, but if they're both mature people and they care about each other, they can work it out. And you can have 2 charts that look beautiful together, and one or both people are unable to have a good relationship, and so obviously they don't. And the first message I sent to the group today, the one I was trying to find my computer to send to the rest, was description of a couple that I did like that. Their charts were so fit together, it was unreal, incredibly connected. But they were both Hollywood starlets, prima donnas, inflated egos, so they couldn't really live with anybody because they were both too egocentric. So they had been married and divorced 3 times when I did their charts.
Reminds you of the Red Gypsy, maybe?
They couldn't, they were too connected and tied together. They couldn't separate, but they couldn't live together either because they were too much prima donnas, both of them, and neither one would compromise.
So they bought a ticket on themselves. You know that phrase?
No.
It's from New Zealand. There's a website that tells you all the slang, Australian.
Dictionary.
It's like slang. And when you buy a ticket on yourself, that means you basically...
you're in love with yourself.
You're in love with yourself. And since you won't buy it for Eric Clapton or anything, you buy that for yourself.
Yeah, well,
they bought a ticket on themselves.
Yeah, that's the way they were. Anyway, if you just looked at the astrology facts, you'd say this marriage was made in heaven. But they couldn't live together because they couldn't live with anybody.
Right.
So what astrology can do is say, these are the issues that they have to work out if they're going to have a good marriage. And if they work them out, then they can have a good marriage. These are what they've got going for them. These are what our challenges. Astrology can do that, but it can't say they will or won't work it out.
So what is your goal? If this was the best of all possible worlds, and they just gave you total input, and it says, when Zip talks, we're listening, what would you say? What's your goal if you could do it?
My goal of this project is to actually see what astrology can and can't do. I would love to see this project carried out with a lot of different astrological approaches. Test all these techniques and theories and see which ones can perform and which can't.
Do you have any in mind?
For instance, Sarah has got a Vedic program, Jyotish they call it.
Yes.
Which will give a number of compatibility number that can be up to number 33. So the top compatibility is 33, and anything below 18, according to her, is non-compatible. It can't last. It can't be happy. And she's very eager to try this out on this project if it can go.
I have to ask that to this guy. We're going to go to Sedona, and there's a Jyotish astrologer there who also has a PhD in psychology. Clinical, I think it's psychological counseling, something like that. And I forgot his name already, but he's in Sedona. I'll ask him about that. I'll let you listen to the tape too, so I know you're interested.
Yeah, well, Sarah has the program.
Great.
So she can run it if we actually can get this thing going and get 50 pairs. She can run it, and she wants to do it and test the theory. See if the theory works. I don't have any faith in it. The one test that I've seen of Jyotish astrology was when I was in England. I visited Bangalore. V.V. Raman. He's a very famous Hindu astrologer there, and his daughter was studying with him, and she was convinced that Vedic astrology had it. Well, I had with me 15 pairs of charts of young people, and in each pair there was one super bright, high IQ, like over 120 IQ, genius, near genius level, and one mongoloid, Down syndrome, couldn't function well below mental functioning. And she was totally convinced that she could ace it, get 100% right with Vedic. 6 right out of 15.
Oh.
So that's the kind of test I want to see. So I would like to see this tried. I would like to see the computer try to do it, that they're talking about a computer program that they have that claims it can give a number on level of compatibility. I'd like to see the Astro program that they've got for compatibility tried on them. I'd like to see individual astrologers try to do it, and I would be one of the ones I would be glad to try to do that.
Is there a system that you would maybe edge towards that might be workable?
I would look at Juno,
Okay.
which a lot of astrologers don't have. It's a major key to marital success or lack of it. I would look at Icarus.
Okay.
Some of the most incredible intense attractions have been with Icarus conjunctions, like Camilla and Prince Charles.
Oh, really? What a story.
So I would look at asteroids,
Exactly. Right.
plus, of course, traditional Sun, Venus, and all that, Moon. But I would like to see it tried on different techniques. If anybody knows Chinese astrology, try it. I want research to see what astrology can do and what it can't do. And we're not going to know when we try.
Well, this would be exciting if you can actually, someone can fund all this. And,
It's not going to take funding. It's not going to take money to amount to anything, because if they get the Jungian analysts interested, and the Jungian analysts are interested enough in astrology, they'd be willing to cooperate without money just to get 2 couples. That's all they're going to be asked for, is a compatible couple and a non-compatible couple that they've counseled. We have their birth data.
So what they're going to ask these astrologers and some of your friends is what you asked of the Jyotish lady, Ramon's. In other words,
can you
testing.
pick?
Can you do it?
Yeah, can you look at these 50 pairs and pick out which of each pair is compatible and which isn't? That's 50-50
Will
chance.
they give you that test too?
Well, that's what I'm hoping we will work out.
Oh, so geez, I mean, it seems so close. Just go for it.
Yeah, the reason that that the ESAR, some of the ESAR board members, the ones that have psychological background, the way it's set up, we don't expect astrology to be able to do that, because 2 mature people can work out an incompatible combination, and 2 immature people won't.
So what's your
Even if they-
solution?
So the solution is to say that the people who think they can do that, like this computer program and like Jyotish, let them try and find out that they can or can't.
Okay.
But the people who say that's not something we can do, let them do what they can do, which is point out the issues, psychological principles, and see if those are in accord with the way the psychologists have found in their counseling.
So, but then that would just bring in more variables, like as you say, well, here's 2 people, it's easy for them to relate, beautiful trines and all that, but they're basically immature or they're shallow.
No, you're not going to know that.
I know, but it's going to bring out all these other variables once you explain it to them, though.
That the people that are coming from the psychological background, like Glenn Perry and me and Sarah, will say, we can't know the level of maturity until you look at the light. The chart shows potentials.
Exactly.
Psychological issues and principles, not what the person will do with them. So we can spell those out, hopefully sufficiently accurately, so that the psychotherapist then can say, yes, that's the kind of thing we saw in working with these people.
Okay.
So we can say, this is what we think astrology can do, and try to do that. So that's the way I would like to see it set up.
Well, I wish you success. I hope it comes out. I'd love to see the results.
Yeah, well, this is going to take time. It's just in the beginning preliminary planning stage. The other person I'm going to email it to is a psychologist at the University of Arizona in Tucson that I met at the conference in May. And if you read The Mutable Dilemma, you remember I mentioned him. He's done parapsychology, psychic research, and he's going to do a psychic research project with astrology with me when I get my head above water and all the other things I'm trying to do. So I said in the fall of next year, fall of '99, by then I'll be ready. But he's very good at research designing difficult areas where it's hard to figure out how to work it out so you can get significant results. So I'm going to send this correspondence to him and get his impression of this.
And what's interesting
this
is
talking project too.
we're here because of the financial part of this. And here's another area which the focus is on the psychological and compatibilities.
Right.
And then if you could do the same thing as far as a research project, trying to figure out is there an astrological method that's provable or testable in trying to predict winning stocks or
Yeah,
so
see,
forth.
the financial experts are doing it with some success. Jeannie Long is very successful, and apparently the ones who are actually working in the field regularly apparently are doing very well.
Does she have like a program or a website or anything like that?
She has